Okay, so let's go. I have a shitty mic and I'm eating while I'm recording, so the quality is gonna be completely trash, but who cares? So today we are ranking every major body in the solar system. Let's start with the closest and let's go to the furthest. Mercury. Okay, so Mercury, closest planet to the Sun, very elliptical orbit. It's one of the proof we used to demonstrate that general relativity was in fact correct. Not just eccentric, but like it was moving. The orbit itself is rotating, so that cannot be explained by Newtonian physics. So we had to use general relativity. Plus, it's very metal rich, like a very rocky planet. I guess it's worth exploring. It's not the most interesting, but it's worth exploring. Second, Venus. So Venus is kind of boring. Okay, so it has a very thick atmosphere. It's even hotter than Mercury, even though it's further away. And it's roughly the same size as Earth, and it's borderline in the habitable zone of our solar system. It doesn't have a moon. It doesn't look cool. It's just a big cloud, and its surface is just lava. For that, I'm gonna be in worth exploring. So of course, Earth is got it, like breathable atmosphere, liquid water, magnetic field, ice cap, season, plus well life. So got it. The moon also got it. Why? Okay, now it's very interesting. It's pretty cool that it's tidally locked to Earth, so you only see one face. Kind of crazy that like thousands of years we only saw one face of the moon. At the end of the day, it's just a rock, but it's pretty huge for a moon. Like compared to the size of Earth, it's gigantic. Very interesting. Mars is golden. There probably been life on it. It has the hugest, the biggest canyon in the solar system. It has the tallest mountain, like a mountain so tall it nearly go to space. It has ice cap. It has season, even though they are not that pronounced. So yeah, got it. Next, Deimos. Deimos is just a rock. I mean, doesn't have anything very particular. It's just an asteroid that has been captured. Same go for Phobos. One thing that is to say is that one day they're gonna slowly decay into a closer and closer orbit, and you're gonna give Mars rings. So that's cool. Ceres. Okay, so Ceres has a particular history because it's what was considered a planet, a bit like Pluto, and then we discover Vesta, Juno, Pallas, and every other asteroid in the asteroid belt. So we just were like, okay, maybe Ceres isn't a planet. But like for a time, we're like 11 planets in our solar system or something like that. The fact that it has been a planet, I'm gonna be in worth exploring. Plus, it's like pretty huge. It's not the size of the moon, but kind of. I think it's close in terms of diameter, so worth exploring. On the other end, Vesta, Juno, and Pallas. There's a single thing to know about it. Like they were planets. That's cool. That's it. Jupiter. Jupiter has obviously the big dot. It's the biggest planet, but it's a bit of a letdown because like everyone think it's like a failed star or something. Like even if it was 80 times more massive, it will still be just a brown dwarf, so like a star that barely starting. So it's not really nearly a star because it would be needed to be so much bigger to actually be half a star. So it's cool. Plus, it's like holding asteroid with the Trojan asteroid. That's pretty cool. And it was horror farming for a bit because the first time we sent a probe there with a probe specifically to Jupiter with the Galileo, and that was fun because when Galileo finally arrived near Jupiter after years and years of transit, it suddenly captured Jupiter eating a comet, like a comet straight crashing into it. So it was a bit of an horror farming move. That's pretty cool. I think the Trojan system in general is pretty interesting, so I'm gonna put it in very interesting. Io. Okay, so like most thing on this list, the color are like very saturated because otherwise every moon looks the same. So, but the fact that there is sulfur, there is active volcanic volcanoes. I think we can put it in worth exploring. Now, Europa. We are sending a probe there right now, Europa Clipper, because we think there is like big ocean underneath the surface. So that's pretty interesting. That's worth exploring, in my opinion. I mean, it's not like crazy interesting because it's a very low probability that there is any life, but it's not zero, so worth exploring. Ganymede, pretty huge, not anything special about it, just a rock. I think it has low volcanic activity because Jupiter is constantly stretching it. It's just a rock. Same for Callisto, but Callisto is pretty cool. And it just looks cool. It's not. If you want to know something about Callisto, I think it's the first moon that Galileo discovered. No, it's just a rock. Saturn is absolutely goated. Not only is it like less dense than water, which is crazy, it's the second biggest planet. It has an hexagonal storm at its poles. Yeah, crazy thing happening there. We don't really know why it's hexagonal and not like just round like every other storm in the solar system. But that's pretty fun. And did I mention it has fucking rings? I know that every gas giant, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus has rings. But like, if you compare the rings of all of them to the ring of Saturn, it's pretty clear that Saturn has that thing on, you know? It's not messing around. It's proper rings. So, of course, good at status. It has a bonus point because one of its satellites is Titan, which is very interesting because it has an atmosphere while being this far away from the sun. So, I mean, there may be like liquid water inside Europa, but there is definitely no atmosphere. While Titan has a thick atmosphere and like liquid methane and a full-on planet trapped in the orbit of another planet. So I think that's mentioned worthy. That's very interesting. Like it's the most special moon in our solar system. Next is Encelade. Enceladus, I think you say in English. I'm not English. I'm French. We baguette. Same as Europa. It probably has how would say a big liquid ocean underneath the ice. That's worth something. Next we have Rhea or Rhea. I don't know how you say in English. Absolutely nothing interesting about Rhea. I mean, it's just a rock. Okay, at some point, you gotta go with the facts. It's a big moon. It's round. That's pretty interesting for a moon to be round because like when you look at the other thing in those star categories, they are pretty messy. But it just rounds. Like okay, that's the only fact you need to know about Rhea. Next is Uranus. So Uranus has a lot of interesting fact about it. It's the first planet that's still a planet that we discover after antiquity. Like, okay, we didn't know about Ceres, we didn't know about Vesta, and they were temporarily a planet, but like they got downgraded. But Uranus stayed a planet. It's a night giant, meaning it's so cold that anything else than hydrogen is like frozen solid at this point. I think even helium is solid at those temperatures. It's pretty huge. It's pretty bland, like if you look at it. Doesn't have any features, but it rotates perpendicularly, like it's completely on an incline, like so that's interesting. I don't know if it's worth exploring, but worth exploring. Okay, sure. Next we have Ariel. What to say about Ariel? Well, it's just a rock, I mean, what do you want me to say? Next we have it's just a rock also, but it's pretty cool. I'm gonna speedrun the end because as the further you go to the sun, the less interesting they get. Next we have, I think it's Titania. Next we have Oberon. Oberon. So Oberon is lame, just a rock. Yeah, it's Miranda. So Miranda is pretty cool looking. Like it looks like a total shell. We aren't sure exactly what is causing this feature, but I read that it's because because Uranus is like pulling on it, and it's mainly made of ice. It's like creating cliff and rifts. Um, there is a singular thing to say about you. Yeah. So how 12 kilometers, 20 kilometers, 20 kilometers. That's insane. Imagine a 20-kilometer drop, like twice Mount Everest. That's crazy. Just falling straight down. But I think its gravity is pretty weak. Yeah. So you're probably falling for literal days before reaching the ground. So that's fun. Neptune. Okay, I cheated a bit on this one. It's by far my favorite planet in terms of look, but it's only because that's a saturated picture. Because in reality, it's more dull. It's meh. But like, how cool is that? Hey, like, isn't that like crazy? Very cool. It has a giant blue. How to say it? It looks like an eye, but it's a storm, a bit like Jupiter red dot. It's I think the storm is like the size of Earth or something. Like the red spot on Jupiter is like 4 times the size, and this is like 1 time the size. Plus, it's the furthest planet away from the solar system, and we discovered it in kind of a special way because we like observed that Uranus was like doing weird stuff in its orbit, and then we calculated that that can only be caused by like a body of this mass at this position, and we looked and we found it. So very crazy that we calculated the location of this planet before even knowing about it. So very interesting. I'm biased, I don't care. Next, it's Triton. I don't know how to say it in English. Is that nothing very interesting, except that from Triton you can see Neptune. Neptune is got it. I don't care what you say about Neptune. Pluto. Okay, so Pluto, look, it's just a rock, but it has a big heart on it, and it's so cold that there is no atmosphere. Like, I think even hydrogen is nearly frozen. So you get a pass. There. Same go for Charon. Charon is actually pretty interesting because like the moon is, I think, a third of Earth diameters, maybe half, I think. Or yeah, I think it's a third of the world diameter, which is pretty huge for a moon. But like Charon is like half of or even more than Pluto. So technically Charon isn't even the moon of Pluto. They are both like orbiting each other, since like the center of mass is outside of Pluto. So if you look, like, you will actually see Pluto running in circle around nothing. So that's pretty golden. Okay, now Aries. Okay, Aries is interesting because it literally mugged Pluto so hard that Pluto had to not be a planet anymore. Like, everyone was like, okay, the Kuiper Belt exists, but like nothing is as big as Pluto in the Kuiper Belt, so it's fine. We can keep Pluto as a planet. And then we find Aries, and Aries was like even bigger than Pluto, even more heavy. So we're like, okay, that's too much now. We have to downgrade Pluto. I don't even know how you say that one. It's since I kept 4 body from the asteroid belt. I wanted 4 body from the Kuiper belt, but like most of them are completely unknown. We only have like distant pixelated picture of them. So Quaror, I think. That's just another rock, but that's pretty funny. That's just a rock. Now, we go for Orcus. We don't give a shit. And Sedna is pretty funny because it's nearly a comet. Like, it's just a huge comet, to be honest, because it orbits in such a weird way. It's a very eccentric orbit that takes like 20,000 years or some shit like that. And it doesn't orbit on the same plane as the other one. Like, if you look at the solar system, even though like Mercury and Venus has a bit of an incline, like most of them sit on the same plane. And then you have like Sedna, which is just doing whatever, orbiting. Like, what is happening? Like, what are you doing? Like, we are pretty lucky that we found it when it was close to the sun. I mean, close. It's still like twice as far as Pluto, but pretty close to the sun. While it could have been there, like, and trying to find something that's this small, this far, it's just not possible. I think, yeah. You see, it doesn't orbit on the same plane. It's like it's a pretty decent incline. So that's something. Okay, and we are done. This is my tier list. It's obviously right. You cannot contest that. I'm gutted. And Neptune is the best one of the gas giant.